So Becky, how can organisations effectively communicate their social value to whatever stakeholders they might want to, using tools like the social value engine?
So the great thing is it produces a lovely zingy PDF, which doesn't look hugely pretty, but actually gives you the data that you need. But what it does produce is a glorious pie chart, which clearly shows how much value each you have produced against each UN Sustainable Development Goal your activity is hit. So that pie chart in itself and that overall figure, as we said with INSEE, £8.78 per pound spent for the last 2024 project. Those are your key bits of data that you can use, and they translate quite broadly. Something we're thinking about in terms of Orchestras Live is how we pull that together to sort of support and complement all of the qualitative and quantitative data and those personal stories and quotes that we collect, so that you're presenting a kind of 360 version of the project with the social value as a key component within the overall impact story that you want to tell. So I think, it gives a different perspective on the evaluation. Essentially, it doesn't replace the evaluation you do. You still need to do all the hard graft with your surveys and focus groups and partner discussions and meetings and debriefs, all the things that you should be doing as good practice, you still have to do. So the social value engine uses that data for a really positive outcome for your organisation to use within your advocacy toolkit. So as I said earlier, it really puts that financial value on the intangible benefits we can see firsthand attending cultural projects and performances. That thing that we know instinctively something's good for a community and people are having a good time and enjoying it, and it's a real moment maybe in that community's calendar for the year. And the social value engine data is then enabling us to evidence and show that really clearly, in a way that it can be understood beyond the cultural sector. I've been in a lot of webinars recently about music and healthcare, and we talk two different languages as sectors. The cultural sector language and the healthcare sector language are very different. And this is potentially one of those ways where we can start talking a similar language, or at least connect our individual languages in a different way. And these kind of mechanisms are being adopted across government, really, particularly in the NHS and kind of local government, in terms of them advocating for the value of the public services that they're providing, which, as we know, are expensive because they're all about people delivering them. And another way, we've noticed when we've been looking at it, there's quite a lot of environmental indicators in there. So kind of it's a way of transforming that conversation around environment and climate change and being able to put a value on, say, conserving a woodland area or biodiversity and that kind of thing. So it's a really interesting tool in a very broad context of kind of the public realm, I think.
Yeah, and I think, we do a lot of evaluation, and we know a lot of other organisations in our sector are doing brilliant work in evaluating and gathering data and understanding what's going on. But this just adds that extra sort of translation tool almost for some of the other sectors that otherwise it can be quite difficult to communicate that to.
Yeah, so, as you can tell, Karys and I are really excited about the social value engine, and we're excited about data anyway. But the social value engine, I think, then that story it can tell, and the benefit that could help across the board with talking about our work and its value. We are going to be keeping exploring this. We're working quite hard behind the scenes in terms of how we approach the social value engine, and if it's something that interests you, then drop us a line, get in touch, because we'd be happy to have a conversation, because it's an ongoing project for us, and there'll be more to come. So yeah, great to talk to you about it today, and thank you to those listening too. I hope it's been interesting, and get in touch if you want to know a bit more.